Hello, we're back. What?
I'm a little disappointed. I kind of expected something a little more fiery after the way we ended the last episode.
I'm trying to be conciliatory. Yeah. So everybody's thinking about things in a really weird way, but the point is, at least it's going to the right answer. But man, it sure is weird to think in a completely alien way to, like, my natural instincts. Completely and utterly weird. Why, it's almost as if I can't be forced to be something I'm not.
Speaking of being something we're not, we're the Bittersweet Gamers?
No, I think we're actually more irritatingly genuine.
Nah, the irritatingly genuine gamers. IGG.
Ig. I'm the Iginator.
And I'm Ig squared.
Right, so let's just go.
Then what about the wall? There was only one wall that could be passed through.
Okay.
Right. Even if the river's connected and it goes through the chapel wall.
That's not two walls.
No, it's fine, just let him go,
It wouldn't have been able to go through the mansion wall too.
The reason I was so confused was Shuichi was talking about two walls. And that made me go, two walls? Does he mean something else? Wait a minute!
I got it. I know why Mew only set up one wall.
What are you talking about now?
The reason she only set up one wall is because the chapel and the mansion walls
are the same damn wall!
Oh my god!
That's it! The walls by the chapel and the mansion aren't separate. They're the same wall.
The same wall?
It's not just the river. The walls themselves are connected. Don't think of it as two separate walls, but a single wall parallel to the y-axis.
You would think of it as two separate walls until you find out about the looping.
Right!
And you find out about the looping when the signboard loops. The simple, dumb way of thinking that is like ultimate, total surface level without looking at anything deeper looks at the current of that and reads it properly.
Yeah.
That single wall divides the entire virtual world.
And that's the one she added, meaning it wasn't there.
Right.
Like in the first place, until she added it.
The idea is, you pass through the wall by the chapel and come out by the mansion.
Everything is starting to connect.
And there's only one map loading point. And they even pointed out how weird it was that it was in the middle of the world.
Yeah.
Though I still say, where else would it be?
See, didn't I tell you? Everything is connected.
Damn it, Kokichi! Just tell us!
Shh, it's okay. More importantly, this is the final stretch!
He's right.
If both the river and wall are connected, then you can find the secret. Shuichi, you already know the secret behind the virtual world, right?
What are you talking about? How is this some highfalutin philosophical thing? We're actually BSG, not IG. So obviously we actually talk about things like this. What's some high-minded philosophical thing about the loop? Huh? Well, clear up the secret of the virtual world or whatever. We need to solve the mystery of the virtual world. Hangman's Gambit, prepare to kill me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 5-letter words. A unique feature. LDR, that's an M.
Start with an O.
LDRM. Oh. World.
One single.
But we don't have a W, we have M's. But it's Earled, right?
Yeah.
But we don't have another.
It's not loops or looping. Or...
No, it's 5 letters. L-O-R-D, and it's like...
Oh, that's sneaky.
Yeah. Dang, I didn't see it. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loops? World loops?
Oh my god. You guys just figured it out? Boom.
I see now. Yes, that's it. The virtual world is a loop.
Okay, so they're gonna be messing with us now in terms of the Hangman's Gambit and directions.
Loop?
Just like in old games, right? Like, for example,
Why hadn't you brought this up before, Tsumugi? We've only been calling you out for episodes.
when a character goes off the left side of the screen and reappears on the right.
Right.
Yes, exactly. The edges of the virtual world are linked together in a continuous loop.
The virtual world loops?
Why is this so hard for you to understand?
What in the world?
Now, to be fair, I don't think Maki has a robust history of playing video games.
I suppose I can agree with that.
Are you okay? If you keep making that face when you talk, Damon, it's gonna stick that way.
It already did.
Oh
If that's true, it would explain the way the signboard was swept away.
I like how we just looked at this.
It vanished into the wall downstream of the river, came out of that same wall
no!
upstream.
Yeah, we just saw it and was like, oh, it passed through the wall and wound up here.
We never thought about pass through the wall. We were just like, it looped.
Yeah.
The end. I mean, the end. Yeah, we thought about it like this.
And floated with the current until it got caught on the rocks.
What was the world like before Mew added the wall?
Well, we're almost there.
Actually, there wasn't a wall on the y-axis at all, and the x-axis was set to loop.
Are you serious? Even if it is a computer program, isn't that too crazy?
No! It's been like that since Pac-Man.
A looping world. That's more extraordinary than even magic.
No! It's been like this since Pac-Man!
Waka 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 waka!
And Donkey Kong! And Mario Brothers!
But at least it's not a boring answer. It also explains all the things that happened.
Huh? It doesn't explain everything, does it?
Oh, yeah, it does.
It explains everything except who killed Mew.
That's true.
Because we still don't know why we heard that one sound or Kibo's voice.
Well, no, it explains that too.
Yeah, sound doesn't go past the map loading point.
The map loading point is over there.
Yeah.
Actually, if we know that the world is a loop, we can explain that as well.
Huh? Really?
It's only the map loading point that sound doesn't go through.
Yeah.
Yes, but first we need to be clear where the loop starts.
Huh?
Again, this is a super mega ultra complicated way of thinking about it. I have no idea what the heck they're talking about.
I mean, technically, the loop starts at the map loading point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on either side of the map is the loading point.
Yes.
It's the same loading point, not two loading points. The end. We are now done.
Where the loop starts.
Why are you people all like this?
Doesn't it loop at the walls next to the mansion and chapel?
Let me draw it for you.
Not necessarily. If we heard a noise at the chapel from inside the mansion, then the loop...
The map loading point. The map loading point.
I mean, where is the looping point? Ah!
There!
swear to God.
We clearly were
The
right!
map loading point was where the virtual world looped.
We weren't mad the whole time missing it!
I kind of feel like the creator of this game has a very low opinion of the average gamer's familiarity with video games.
No, I think a lot of it, you know, we got this a lot with tabletop when we were younger. The people that we played with really liked doing puzzles because they were evil and insane. And no one could ever figure out any of their puzzles
I see
ever.
where you're going, yeah.
Because nobody could ever think.
The way they did.
Their clues and their puzzles made no sense. Because they would only make sense if you thought that the way they did and had the same mental cues about concepts that they did. But if you don't, then the clues were meaningless. I think it's just that.
Okay.
We thought the loading point was in the middle of the map,
Right. Like I showed in the last episode.
but the loading point was actually at the edges.
So the wall Mew created wasn't at the edges of the world, but rather... her wall was at the center of the world.
I see. So the mansion and chapel were near each other, with a wall between them.
Again, what we were doing wasn't deductive, it was inductive.
Yeah.
Like, we started with the fact that since we heard the noise, then it must have been this way.
Yeah.
Or at least once we got to the correct reading of that noise.
Yeah.
And any sounds emitted near the chapel would also reach the mansion. The wall only allows non-humans to pass through, so sound should be able to pass through easily.
That's correct. Sound is not human.
Actually, this is the part that we did spend, we have to be honest about it, we did spend the most time getting this part wrong. However, the part that the game spent all the time on was the looping, which we got instantly. But to be fair, we were even dead wrong about this for a while, and it caused us to peg the wrong person until we essentially, like, in between recording sessions, kind of beat our head against a wall trying to understand the wall. But we did.
Because we're human, see, so we can't pass through it.
Right. But we did. In about 30 minutes, we had it sussed out.
That's right. That's how the virtual world works.
Impressive, Shuichi!
That was a laugh.
For you to get this far!
Uh-huh.
Yes! Yes! You are useful indeed!
Is he gonna strangle him? Well, I'm just saying Kokichi was like, oh, I want you, Shuichi. You are too skilled and too useful to me. I'll get you even if I have to strangle you.
For you to get this far, what are you, some villain pulling the strings?
Well, kind of, yes.
I wasn't going to say kind of, just yes.
Nope. Mew pulled the strings here, not me. Remember?
Well, up to this point. We've just figured out everything that Miyu was doing.
Yeah.
We've got that mystery all the way solved. But you're not the victim, Kokichi. Miyu is. So,
Mew also set this trap. It all began when Mew showed us the map.
which she showed us first to prime us to think in a different way.
Because of the map, we mistakenly thought the loading point was at the center.
Well, that is the loading point. It's just not the center of the world, but the center of the world doesn't matter if it loops.
That's correct. You can't really call something the center unless you're looking at it from a map perspective.
Which in turn made the mansion and chapel seem farther away from each other.
Well, you know, when you look at a map, a flat map of the world, like the real world, everybody kind of puts their own general continent in the center in terms of the x-axis.
That's true. That's true.
That's normal. I'm not saying it's wrong or that you shouldn't do that, because the world, as it turns out, loops. So the center's wherever you want it to be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the structure of the world wasn't actually like that. There was a wall along the y-axis, and the x-axis came around in a loop.
By putting that wall in the center of that world, she cut off the loop.
So ever since Mew showed us that map, we were caught in her trap. But we solved this mystery thanks to Shuichi. All hail our savior!
Oi!
Yeah, if Shuichi wasn't here, then we never would have solved this mystery.
No!
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
I hate when people are BSing me. Is it not lying? Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing too. I mean, there is no faster way to get me suspicious of you and your motives is if you start flattering me in an empty way.
Yeah.
If it's real, I can tell.
Yeah.
Source my life.
That's right. Good work, Shuichi.
Man, if somebody tells you what you want to hear, you better not believe them.
I work in retail. Can confirm.
If somebody tells you what you want to hear, they're just lowering your guard to make you do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to mean it's something malicious or weird or bad. But, well, I mean, I'm a little cynical at a lot of things too. A cynical optimist? Who cares? Let's move on.
Thanks, Shuichi. You saved us.
Guys, come on.
You're welcome.
Just because we found out the virtual world's secret doesn't mean we can take it easy yet.
Who's directing all this?
Yeah, exactly. Who's the one in control?
The mastermind. Kokichi.
Actually, this culprit hunt just got to the exciting part. Even if we know all the tricks, it's pretty meaningless if we don't find the culprit. That's how a class trial works, after all!
Kokichi talking like Monokuma again.
Yeah.
No matter what you say, I'm not gonna believe your lies.
Even if he doesn't turn out to be the actual mastermind, that tape that we had in the beginning that he's the mastermind is pretty clearly right. I mean, he either is going to turn out to have already been in control of the thing or is going to take control of the thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe in everyone. That's how I'm gonna reach the truth.
Okay, fair enough.
I can't wait to see what happens next!
Well, the next thing that we do is, now that we know the truth of the world, we just figure out who possibly could have done it. And the way to do that is to start by eliminating people.
And via process of elimination, there's only 2 people it could have been.
It could not have been anybody else because everyone else has an alibi. And those 2 people are Kokichi and Gonta. So, something that Kokichi tried to do in the second trial that really made it a mess was, all right, it's got to be one of you 2 people. So, and it was neither of them.
Yeah.
You 2 guys just start arguing amongst yourselves. Try to show how the other one did it. Well, are they going to, now that Kokichi is one of those 2 people, are they going to do that? Are they going to start arguing amongst themselves?
God, I hope not. Gonta couldn't argue his way out of a paper bag.
Yeah, that's true. And in the virtual world, he couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag either. So he kind of has no use. What is Kokichi's plan here? He's definitely prodding at Kaito on purpose. Why, it's almost as if everything he's doing here is to defeat Kaito. Well, there's no time for distractions like him. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but...
I don't think that's a good way of looking at it.
I understand what he's getting at, but Kokichi ain't no distraction. Regardless, what we have to do is to find the culprit who killed Miyu. It doesn't matter how many little mysteries we solve. If we can't find the culprit, it would all be for nothing. But, BSG aside, I still don't know for sure who it could be. And in the real world, which you would presume that they would think that they are living in as fictional characters.
Right.
In the real world, you don't assume a type of narrative cohesion.
Yeah.
So the characters would have no way of eliminating Kokichi.
Correct.
So it's Kokichi versus Gonta. That's the only thing it could be. Who used Miyu's own plan against her to kill her? Who killed Miyu? Yeah. And now is where things get complicated. It couldn't have just been one of them.
Yeah.
Arg! This is pretty empty too.
Man, I'm bushed. I got no motivation at all. And we're back to this joke again. Monophanie's period is late, too.
Have we ever even talked about this? Also, she's a robot? Father, why do you know Monophanie's cycle?
And another thing.
Never mind that. Perhaps this lack of motivation is due to a lack of hibernation.
Eh?
Lack of hibernation?
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping well lately, so I haven't really been able to hibernate.
Is that how it works? I don't think so.
That's awful! What could be causing it?
Is it because you have a lot on your mind? I saw you, Billy! I saw you coming in there to just plain steal my lines!
Is it because the graveyard shift pays a better hourly wage?
What?
Really?
Man, forget the graveyard shift. Messes with your mind. And quite a lot of other people don't comprehend it either. I've never permanently worked it, but I've worked it plenty of times. Something that I heard a lot of people who did work overnight say is like family members they had were like, why aren't you up at 9 in the morning? And they're like, I got off work! I've been working since 11 p.m.
Wow,
like
really?
They complained about it a lot, that a lot of people did not understand the schedule they had to keep.
Wow.
Is it because you don't want those bastards to think you're just goofing around, sleeping all day? They don't know the pain that's in your heart.
Is it because you want to stay friends?
Stay friends with who? The night clerk?
The hell are you all on about?
Is it because you want to watch it in real time? Watch what in real time?
You're not even trying now.
Father?
He's gone into hibernation. We should just let him be.
Now, what this actually meant, okay, I feel like perhaps I have been doing a disservice and I should have been interpreting Monokuma, but I just decided in the beginning of this game that I wasn't going to do that. Shouldn't have done it. I should have been interpreting him. I should have been interpreting him. I don't know what words came out of my mouth. What he's doing right here is saying, I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Night-night! What a waste of time.
My head! Monotaro! Pull yourself together!
I'm pulling on my arm as hard as I can!
No, don't pull yourself apart.
I feel like I'm forgetting someone important to me, but I just can't.
Oh, this is like a Gundam character about to die.
My head! My head hurts so much, I just can't remember. If you've forgotten, maybe that's for the best. From this point forward, let's start a new life for ourselves.
Monophony, don't you understand? That new life will be a lie. It won't be the dream you've always been hoping it would be. You'll just be pretending. You know that any day, one day, he'll wake up, he'll remember, and he'll leave you behind. Just like he did then. Just like he did that day. Oh, the humanity! The tragedy!
Are you okay?
I'm just kind of getting into it, but I mean, my heart's not in it, really.
You could have fooled me.
After all, our baby is excited to meet his daddy, you know?
Daddy? Wait, what? I'm gonna be a father?
Red!
Ah, he's the red one. So anyway.
What a colossal death flag. I'll be surprised if he doesn't die after that.
Look,
Hey, she was the one who was interested in, like, These Are the Days of Our Lives Monokuma soap opera thing.
Why do we have to talk about robot bear child incest?
Because that's the kind of game this is.
Why? Why do we have to talk about robot bear child incest?
More importantly, let's continue the conversation where we left off.
We understand Mew plotted the murder, but we need to find out who killed her.
Isn't that almost 100% of the evidence?
I believe you are correct, actually.
The only thing that's left is the device instructions and avatar error, right?
I think we haven't talked about the lattice yet.
Well, fair
or
enough.
Kokichi in the salon, I believe. And I think that's about it.
And in order to figure that out, we need to understand Mew's actions.
Well, the tragedy is coming up because, as we've said, pretty sure Gonta did it, was manipulated into doing it, or even ordered to do it by Kokichi, whom he was guarding. Still don't know how the phantom toilet paper... Gonta doesn't seem like the type to want to strangle someone.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Anyway, however that happened, but that detail aside, that's what it's gotta be.
So let's discuss her murder scheme step by step.
Didn't we already?
I know that's important, but hearing you lead the conversation really pisses me off.
The one thing that Kokichi is actually very, well, it's a weakness of his. The more fired up he is, the more he's trying to do something that's important to him. If he's leading the conversation, everyone should be like, what's he up to? Because he is up to something.
Well, Shuichi at least is doing that.
That's true.
Let's see. Mew manipulated the virtual world to use it as part of her murder plan.
Don't just ignore me and start anyway.
If she had succeeded, she would have gone past the wall between the chapel and mansion. And then wham! Murdered me on the roof with the hammer.
She would make the murder seem like it happened in the real world, and then pin it on Kaito.
As for Mew's alibi in the real world, she could say she was locked into the virtual world. And in the virtual world, she could say she was near the chapel the entire time.
She'd make an excuse about how she couldn't reach the mansion because of the fallen bridge.
No! Allow me. Ma, ma, ma! Whoops! My hand slipped! Verily doth I provide an alibi for myself!
She dropped the bridge on purpose so she could separate the chapel from the mansion.
We're just moving along. We're just moving along.
Then secretly passed through the wall she installed and took advantage of the loop. After, she headed to where we were supposed to meet up, the mansion's rooftop. Oh yeah, Kaito was probably logged out around that time too.
That's when I saw Mew.
Problem is, because of her murder plans, we don't even know where she was killed.
It was the rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
We can tell because of the lattice.
Yeah.
She was killed on the roof, right?
Correct.
Again, Kokichi had to have been involved. The characters don't know this part.
Right.
But we, the players, know that he was sort of scheming something with Monokuma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that ultimately Monokuma, although he did it, seems to not really like it. Well, the only reason you would try sliding the lattice with Miyu's avatar body on top of it off the building...
As if you knew it would pass through the wall.
Right. And that wasn't Gonta, so it would have had to be Kokichi.
Well, the thing is after Gonta kills Miyu, Kokichi can be as involved as he wants to be and not be the Blackened.
Right. Those are the rules. After all, in Chapter 4 of the first game, Yasuhiro...
Genocide Jill?
Yeah, Toko and Asahina were not the Blackened, nor should they be.
And in Chapter 2, Byakuya was not the Blackened, but manipulated everything.
Beforehand.
Beforehand, yeah.
Well, okay, not beforehand. Rather, the exact same method as this. So,
Yeah.
you know, call it dirty all you like, but it is what it is. You're not the Blackened.
Kokichi told us the roof door was locked and that he couldn't get through.
Maybe that one culprit killed her.
That's probably what happened. The culprit killed her on the locked roof.
But why would the roof be locked?
Did the culprit lock the door to the roof?
That's what they're gonna say.
Perhaps. I don't think Mew did it.
She wanted him to come up there so she could kill him. So the last thing she's going to do is lock him out.
Yeah, exactly.
If Mew did lock it, she would have done it when she called Kokichi to the roof.
Right, that would make sense.
Even if someone came up, I don't believe she would change the target of her plan.
After all, she had this special thing to gain an advantage over Kokichi. If she touched him, he's paralyzed.
She knew that Kokichi would come up later. Locking the door would be suspicious.
Well, it's possible she didn't even think that far ahead.
No, with all this preparation, that's a little absurd.
I mean, she had already logged Kaito out, for instance.
Yeah.
And already had told Kokichi to meet her on the rooftop.
She was smart,
Uh-huh.
but she was also really, really dumb.
No say such mean things.
Well, that is true, though.
Killing game bad, not Mew.
How unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mew not bad person. Going to think we could have been friends, if things different.
It's true, yes. If things were different, you could have been friends, and you can even still think of her as a friend.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that what she did was okay.
The killing game didn't force her to make that choice. It put pressure on her so she could make that choice more easily.
And whatever reason it was that makes her so afraid and vulnerable, if that reading of her that we have is correct, if that did not happen, then maybe she wouldn't have been psychologically weak enough to try to plan this.
Yeah.
That might have been difficult, even without this killing game.
Yeah.
That wouldn't happen.
Nuh-uh. No way, Jose.
Huh?
Anyway, let's continue the discussion. If Mew was killed on the roof of the mansion, the culprit must have moved Mew's avatar to the chapel after killing her, right?
Yes.
So the next thing we should talk about is how they moved her avatar.
Lettuce!
And this explains the loud noise.
Now we know the mansion and chapel were actually next to each other.
Also, the mansion is like 3 stories high. It's pretty tall up there, and that's the roof of a 3-story building, not just the 3rd story.
Yeah.
But the problem is the wall between them.
Well, any non-human object can pass through that wall.
Right.
Only Mew was able to go through that wall. The culprit wouldn't have been able to.
Then you're saying the culprit sent Mew's avatar through that wall?
Yeah, that's the only way, right?
And there's a
But
slope.
how did the culprit send Mew's avatar through the wall?
There's a slope on the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they could have thrown her.
Going to not throw her!
Yeah? Why you say it that way? You remember something?
We know. You couldn't because the avatar's physical strength was equalized.
Physical strength equalized? That problem. Gonta no can protect everyone if that happens.
Is that what drove him to madly use toilet paper as a weapon? Why was he carrying toilet paper?
Look, man, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
I understand. Maybe he failed. Maybe he failed to use the toilet paper properly.
Can we just not talk about that?
Okay.
Jeez, keep up with us. We're already in the second half of the class trial.
Didn't you see the intermission?
Maybe it's just because we haven't... Maybe it's just because we're on the ball this time, but doesn't it seem like they're laying these clues on thick? Maybe we missed a lot of them. Like, I know we missed stuff in the first one. Because we were really not expecting it to have turned out the way it did, even though we always kept it open as a possibility. We didn't really think that was how it was going to happen. So I know we missed a lot of stuff then, and you pick up on this stuff when you know what it's about. But now that we seem to know what it's about, we must be right because of all the clues. They're throwing so many clues.
How did they send Mew's avatar to the other side of the wall? Maybe that thing has something to do with it. You know, the loud sound you heard?
Yes, of course Kokichi knows exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who did it.
Oh, something bothered me!
Will you let that go? Well, go on!
Oh, but that's your line. Will you let that go?
Fine!
What? What was that sound?
Because of that sound, you guys went to the side of the chapel. Right, Keyboy? That's when you found the dead Mew there, right? If so, then I think that sound and her avatar being by the chapel are related.
Brilliant deduction. There's no doubt in my mind that the noise is related to this case. We need to figure out what that sound could have been. It might be the clue we need to solve this case. Again, I think it's funny how this is like so challenging in terms of like the narrative of the trial, but we were like, it was this. So what was it? It sounded like something slamming hard into something else. Like a large weight slid down, built up momentum, or velocity rather, and fell off of a building with all the velocity and momentum it had, and then smashed into a wall. So what were those two things, okay? Something slammed into something else. The lattice with Miyu slammed into the chapel wall.
Yes.
Right.
A lattice hitting the wall. What?
Okay, let's...
Yes, I do actually!
Okay, let's...
I was wrong!
Okay, let's look at what it is that they're wanting then.
Well, the only thing would be is Miyu hitting the wall then.
That's
The
it!
hammer and the cell phone aren't big enough.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
I think the sound came from Mew's avatar hitting the chapel wall.
I didn't see the Miyu thing. I just saw lattice and then ran down to do it. But it's like that's the same thing. But we haven't established that yet. That's actually getting ahead of ourselves.
The hammer, cell phone, and lattice were there, but they were too small to make that noise.
I kill you all!
Billy, that's not a pallet. It's lattice.
Still a lot of wood to be slamming into something, but okay, fine.
It's just getting ahead of ourselves. That is a thing that can happen. Obviously, from listening to us talk, we know what happened.
Ruling those out, the only other explanation is that the sound was Mew colliding with a wall.
If that's the case, Miyu's avatar must have hit the chapel wall really hard.
Uh-huh.
We felt the impact all the way from the inside of the chapel.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the real question.
It had accelerated and fallen pretty far.
Mew's avatar probably hit the chapel's wall with pretty considerable force. But why did it hit the wall with such force?
Guys!
Can you guys figure it out?
Duh!
Hold on, Kokichi. What's up with the way you're talking?
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
Why are you talking like you know everything?
Well, I mean, when it comes to this...
Let's not worry about that right now.
No, I think we really should.
More importantly, we gotta solve the mystery. Fighting among friends is a waste of time.
Friends? Us?
Anyway, can we talk about that after we figure this problem out?
Man, they just keep being like, oh, we'll talk about this later. Oh, we'll talk about this later. Oh, we'll talk about this later.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily the wrong thing.
I just noticed they've been doing it an awful lot this trial.
Well, they will be talking about it later, to be fair. I don't know. Even though everybody, like, comically jumped all over the there's no way we could have been friends with Miyu, I really do think that if Miyu would have made the effort, it easily could have happened.
Oh yeah, totally. 100%.
Again, it's not being a jerk that's a problem, and it's not being vulgar that's a problem, and it's not being gross that's a problem, and it's not respecting other people's boundaries aggressively that's a problem. It's doing all of them at the same time to a very large degree. If she just would have backed off a bit, it would have been fine.
Mm-hmm.
A way of transporting Miu's avatar that would cause it to crash into the chapel.
Getting Miyu's avatar to crash into the chapel from the mansion's roof. There's only one way I can think of how to do that.
Hey, Shuichi, as your partner, I'll give you a little hint.
We don't need it.
You what?
He's saying, hey guys, you understand, right? Hey guys, you understand, right? Remember, they haven't talked about eliminating anybody and who it possibly could have been. He's trying to be like, hey guys.
Since the mansion was on top of a hill, the roof was pretty high up, right? Past the brick handrail, the roof was at a pretty steep slope.
Come on, Shuichi would have gotten this. He just didn't get the chance before Kokichi told him the answer.
Yeah.
And the slope faced the chapel wall. On top of that, there was snow on the roof.
Oh yeah.
If the culprit needed force to move the body, I wonder how they did it.
Uh-huh. I really like that, though. This is really excellent. It's like not really about the case at all.
Yeah.
Kokichi is talking as if he's got the whole thing figured out already. But I can't let him distract me. I need to solve the case. What's going to happen is everyone's going to say, like, it's your fault, you're a killer. And he's going to be like, at what point did you ever think otherwise? Didn't I even specifically tell you that? Using those words explicitly once. What's wrong with you? Something I had said about the first blood perk way back in the beginning of the game was this would give us the opportunity to go through the game with a killer actually being with us and seeing the problems that would create. It wasn't quite that, but it looks like we're going to get something sort of like that, at least in Chapter 5, where the quote-unquote killer is going to be with us. I guess we got that in 2.
Oh, a little bit with Nagito, yeah.
Well, nobody trusted him from the beginning.
That's true.
Or took him too seriously. I was saying with Fuyuhiko. But that's because Fuyuhiko, he did the right thing. That's why we've, just like with Kaede, why we've never, ever, ever looked down on him for it. Because of, like, the giant, I was wrong. Like, dang, you want us to forgive you? Give us that, you get it by default.
Yeah.
Well, I know this is extremely challenging. But how do I make Miyu hit the chapel wall from the roof of the mansion? I'm gonna find the answer! Ah, it's so hard! Okay, there's gotta be a Monokuma. Because, okay, S. D-I, slid.
Slid, yeah.
Slid. I lost track, though.
Oh, Monokuma.
Found it where?
Second one. That one, right there.
Here?
Coming, yeah.
Got it, sweet. Okay.
Slid off roof.
Off, you're right. That's gotta be it. Yep.
Slid off food!
Dang, where's an R?
That's backwards.
This? It was.
And then that one as well.
Which one?
Up, to the right. Don't worry about it, just use the thing, yeah.
Ta-da! What do you want? Man, I'm glad we finally got the Monokuma.
I know, we can stop worrying about it.
The culprit used the sloped roof as a slide for Miu's avatar.
Like, we could have cleared the mining one in like 3 seconds if we weren't looking.
Slide? Aw, man. Even with the slope and the snow, Miu's body wouldn't have slid.
There's a lattice there. What did you think it was there for?
Wrong. It would slide.
But the avatars can generate friction. We wouldn't have been able to walk otherwise. So I doubt that it would have had that much momentum.
No. It would slide.
No.
It wouldn't slide, just like Maki Roll said.
It wouldn't slide by itself, but there was a lattice discovered next to it that used to be in the warehouse on the rooftop.
It would slide, just like Shumai said.
I'll take the Maki Roll, thanks.
Who the hell is Shumai?
It's another type of food.
I see.
Yeah, I don't like it that much.
Oh, he's a pupil of Ramen Man. Sorry, my hobby slipped in.
That must be from Umpon Man.
Okay.
I'm positive that's how Miyu's avatar was moved. But? What do you mean, but?
Well, we have to actually finger the lattice. Maybe I'll use different terminology. We have to actually confirm the lattice.
Maybe the culprit used something else as well to help her body slide. Billy fingers the lattice.
No! Huh? Okay, well, we know what the bullet is. Lattice near the chapel.
Even if her avatar slid off
Guys?
the roof, would it slide off that quickly?
I mean, no.
Well, duh, it would.
If
No!
it made that much noise, it must have built
No!
up a lot of speed.
Lots of snow piled up on roof,
Right?
but not frozen solid, right?
You'd still slide, though.
Whoosh, whoosh,
In the
whoosh.
real world, it might be difficult. But in the virtual world, perhaps not.
No.
That's not the issue. Sliding down snow is easy to do. You just need a sled or skis to cut the friction.
There was nothing
There
like
we go,
that
there we go.
around, though.
Ah, darn it.
You threaded the needle.
So it's the very last one. Yeah, that was a good
Even
shot,
if her avatar
actually.
slid off the roof,
I mean, it gave me a penalty.
would it slide off that quickly?
Still slide, though.
Stop. Gosh, now I'm acting like you were
In the real world, it
Danganronpa
might be
2.
difficult.
Shut up.
When you started
But
trying
in the
to
virtual
Gatling
world,
gun,
perhaps not.
like the white text.
That's not the issue.
Okay.
Sliding down snow is easy to do. You just need a sled or skis to cut the friction.
Next one.
There was nothing
Woo!
Darn, I didn't see
That's
it, though.
wrong.
Well, you almost hit the white noise.
That's why I had to fire it when I did.
No, wait. There was something that could have been used to help slide Mew's body.
And conveniently, we found it next to Miyu's body at the destination point, so it might be related.
Do you remember the lattice that was found by Mew's avatar?
No, it was cabbage.
The culprit laid her on top of that, then used it as a sled on the roof.
I like cabbage. Well, I do.
I did notice the lattice in the storage room when I first looked.
Even though it makes me feel like a rabbit, I actually kind of like lettuce, too. Well, it's really just like,
The sensation of eating it?
no, more like you're eating water.
Huh.
Like you're just eating non-frozen water, which is essentially what you're doing.
But during the investigation, I saw that it was gone.
Uh-huh.
The lattice that was found next to the chapel is the one that disappeared from the roof?
Uh-huh.
Then that's it. The culprit used the lattice as a sled.
Ding, ding, ding! That's correct!
That's correct, he says.
After the culprit killed Mew on the rooftop, they placed her corpse on a sled.
That's very cute. Was it the culprit? It might not have been the culprit.
That's true. That's true.
Might have been Kokichi.
And slid her down the roof's steep slope.
The sled picked up speed, flew off the roof,
And away with ye! Hoi!
glided through the wall only objects could pass through, and hit the chapel.
The impact made all of her belongings scatter, including the hammer and cell phone.
Just like that hedgehog who loses all his rings whenever he crashes into stuff. I hate that guy and his worldwide fame and his stupid games, and I hate that hedgehog!
I mean, he hasn't had like a good game in, I don't know, 15 years? Something like that. No, a little longer than that. about 20 years.
Well, I've heard some goodish things about some of the more recent ones.
The most recent one, as far as I understand, is just mediocre, which makes it a top-tier Sonic game. I don't know, I'm not really into anthropomorphic animals, furry, or Sonic games, though I like the Sonic Adventures. But, I mean, it's just not my taste, so there you go.
Daddy, I'm glad you're feeling motivated again, but you shouldn't be so hateful.
I don't hate the games. It's more like apathy.
Why are you responding to this line?
Because I'm having a conversation? Haven't you noticed that I talk to games?
Yeah, but she's not talking to you, she's talking to Monokuma.
Well, they're never going to talk to me because I'm me and they're in games.
That makes far too much sense.
Yeah, I do make sense, don't I? When I'm doing this. Huh? That's right. Go on, Monophony.
You gotta be an example to our new family.
Well?
Robot bear child incest.
Yeah, Father. Or should I start calling you Grandfather now?
Now that we know how the body slid down, we're just one step away from the culprit. Well, Shuichi, do you know who the culprit is?
The culprit. Well, the thing is if they ask for it, what do they want us to hit?
Well, there was a time in which we had to select the person who wasn't the Blackened in order to move the thing along.
When was that?
When they wanted us to pick Tenko for the whole suicide nonsense. Like, we had to pick her in order to move it along.
Okay, in case something bad happens, I'm a save. My instincts of insta game over due to BS are strong here.
Yeah. In the end, we'll still need to guess the culprit, huh?
But Gonta can't believe one of us killed Mew.
You know who we really haven't spent any time with at all in this trial?
Who?
Gonta.
I mean, yeah, right, you know.
However, since we know she was killed on the roof,
Thank you!
we can narrow down the list of suspects.
I'm so sorry we suspected you in your inner voice. And we didn't suspect you out of malice.
Right.
It's just that we both pegged you as the victim in our predictions.
Meaning, the culprit must be someone who was investigating the mansion.
Right. The other guys all have alibis, and except for Miyu, who has a strange alibi in that she was killed.
She was the victim. That's why she's not the Blackened.
Yes. Much as she was trying to be.
Aside from you, the people at the chapel could not go through the wall or cross the river.
So that means the suspects are Kaito, Samugi, Shuichi, and Gonta.
And you.
And you, buddy. Anyway, Tsumugi and Shuichi they were with each other not 100% of the time.
But when the events happened.
But when the events occurred, they most definitely were with each other. Kaito, we've already established that he has an alibi. So it's Gonta, who is the one who did it, and you.
That's real sneaky, leaving yourself off the list.
Ooh, you got me.
That's right. 5 suspects. Me, Tsumugi, Gonta, Kokichi, and Kaito. We don't know enough to name the culprit yet, but one of them is suspicious.
Based on the evidence that has come out in the trial so far,
they are
that's
asking
Kokichi.
for Kokichi, like you say. Of course, we believe it's Gonta, but Kokichi is most certainly involved, and as you say.
And none of that information has come out in the trial yet to point to Gonta.
And as you have said, and plus he tells you right here, when we were talking about the rooftop, they clearly lied. But what reason would they have to lie? About the locked door, which was also one of the things that I really focused on, you know. I'll need to press them for information before making any judgments. Okay, under this circumstance, I'm not going to complain about having to pick the person as the killer that I don't think is the killer.
Right.
It's you!
Because of all the caveating.
Kokichi, there's something I need to know.
What do you need to know?
Why did you lie just now?
Which lie are you talking about, Shuichi? I lie a lot, so you'll need to jog my memory.
Fine.
I'll expose your lie right now.
Which one is he talking about? The locked rooftop?
I think so.
Also, I never went to the roof. Not even for the meeting.
But he knew about the roof's characteristics.
Uh-huh. It all began when Miyu showed us the map. That's probably what happened. The culprit killed her on the locked roof.
It was that testimony that bothered me.
Oh my.
What did he lie about? Oh, no, I hit the wrong button. What does that do?
It shows you where, like, sets are.
That's worthless.
So we're looking for the specific line.
Okay, I'm not paying any attention. I'm just playing the game. So I'll leave that to you.
That one. It's the one right there. He never went to the locked roof.
I mean, I haven't seen anything. Yeah. Ugh.
Wait, you didn't have to break that one.
You don't know. Can I just select it? Or do I need to keep going?
I think you have to clear it. And then that pink one.
Yeah. Darn it. Darn it! Yes!
Ah, there you go.
I didn't even look at it at all, by the way. What does it say?
That I never went to the roof.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a lie. What'd the other one say?
Oh, it was the things
When
he
you
actually
explained
said.
that the door to the roof was locked, you said,
At this time, we just totally cheated because there's two of us. Still didn't do so well because I had to keep knocking a bunch of the things off, but that's life. Also, I never went to the roof, not even for the meeting.
but later you said,
I know everything about the characteristics of the rooftop. Since the mansion was on top of a hill, the roof was pretty high up, right? Past the brick handrail, the roof was at a pretty steep slope, but I never went up on top of the roof. I only know this because I saw it from down on the ground. And the slope faced a chapel wall. On top of that, there was snow on the roof. The slope faced the chapel wall. Never mind. Right now, when all the information has come to light, how did the culprit know that? This is not the first time I've brought this up, Billy. You can't be surprised. You never noticed when I brought it up before? The culprit, or Kokichi aiding the culprit, had to know.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise he just would have thought it was going to slide off and bounce on the wall.
Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah. I thought you meant that he already knew about the characteristics of the roof.
Well, he did know about the characteristics of the roof.
Right, but you were talking about the characteristics of the wall, that she would be able to slide. Yeah, I remember that.
that's a lot of specific information. Stuff you wouldn't know if you hadn't been there.
Oh yeah! Now that you mention it, how did you know all that stuff?
You could probably see the steep slope of the roof from outside the mansion.
It's true.
But you wouldn't know about the brick handrail unless you went up to the roof yourself.
And you wouldn't know about the lattice in the warehouse if you hadn't been in there yourself either. Well, I'd say this seems like a good enough spot to stop, as next one will probably be the end of the trial, don't you think?
Wow, that would be pretty fast. Did we still have to go through all the linking it to Gonta being the one to do it, though?
Yeah, you might be right. One or two more.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't have a clever intro. We're trying to move quickly right now.
Yeah.
Did I say intro?
You did say intro.
Outro. That's how clever I am.
Sidetro, it's fine.
Yeah, sidetro. See, there's two side tros.
No, it's only one.
One on either side, y-axis, the side tros.
Shut up.
The 16th student, hidden inside the walls. The walls that non-human objects can pass through. The devourer of worlds.
Are you done?
Watch out for her. Poop joke.
Quit talking about poop. No one cares.
No one cares. What a shady person.
笑ってふざけ合っても何かが違う、何か足りない、誰にも言えないこと、答え探してみても何が正しい、何が間違い、ゆらゆら揺れる迷いを吹き飛ばせ、欲しいものは一段、遠くても欲しいさ、いつでも君のために戦うのさ、未来はもう止まらない、明日も輝くだろう、何度だって光る一つの星